Glad to have you back in today's video in Ideageneration under our entrepreneurship series. So remember, my name still remains Dr. Neye Onyabo, and I'm glad you're on my channel today. So today I'm going to be taking you on another point on how to generate your own idea. So I'm going to share an experience with you. Here is the story of Jane. Jane decides to try to start her own business by rearing chickens to sell. She knows how to do it, and her uncle gives her a loan of $500 to start the business. However, before she buys the chicks, someone tells her that there is a huge demand for sunflower oil because of its lack of availability in the market. Traders are knocking on the doors of local farmers, asking them to produce it, thinking she can earn a lot more money from pressing sunflower seeds for oil. Jane changes her business idea and starts an oil pressing venture. So Jane had to change from rearing chicks, which she had good experience at doing, to producing sunflower. Now, Jane has never grown a large quantity of sunflowers. She spent all the money from her uncle to buy seeds, fertilizers, and oil pressing equipment. Since she uses most of the family farmlands to grow sunflower, there is less land to grow maize and vegetables for the family to eat. The chemicals from the fertilizers begin to make her chicken sick. She now has to buy more food for the family. Now, it takes a lot of time and effort to process the oil, so Janet had to employ someone to help her. A lot of other farmers have started growing sunflower seeds too. Therefore, by the time her oil is ready to sell, the market is already saturated with the goods, sunflower oil. To reduce her loss, Jane had to sell her oil at a very low price to local shops. As a result, Jane makes very little money and she's not able to pay back the loan. At the end of the day, Jane couldn't find the kind of buyers she thought she would have when she's done producing. I want to ask you a question before I get into another person's experience. That's Jane's experience. But let me ask you a question. What's wrong with Jane's business idea? Yes, she had an idea, but do you think there was something wrong with Jane's business idea? And if you think so, why? So I want to see what you think on the comment section about Jane's business idea. Now I'm going to be sharing another experience with you, and that's Lilian's experience. So Lilian had been working in a garment assembly company, okay? And she had done that for quite some years, and she has gathered experience as well. But then her aunt came visiting and told her that she was having a problem with finding the right clothes for her teenage girl. So the aunt asked her to make clothes for her teenage girl. Now, one of the days, Lilian decided to go for a market research. So she went from one shop to another, and then in some of those shops, she saw some teenage girls, and they were more or less restricted over the options of clothes to buy. The choice was limited because not quite a lot of clothes for teenagers, so they had more of clothes for adults and clothes for the very junior ones, the young ones. Now, Lilian decided to make some designs on paper because that was what she was into already. And then she took it to those shops asking them if they would want those designs, if they would like them, and she also had these teenagers in mind, making designs that actually suits these young girls. And then the shop owners, they were happy about her business idea, and then they told her that they would be interested. So she decided to make some prototype and then bring some samples to them, which they took over from her and told her that they will place further order if the demand is high. So she did the delivery, and after some time, these shops kept placing demand for her to produce more, Now, although in her clothes making, she kept working in the company where she was working earlier and making these clothes at night. Then afterwards, when the demand increased, she employed someone. She employed her friend to work with her. And then the demand kept increasing and she needed to resign from her job and formally registered her business and kept supplying to these companies. Now, this is Lilian. I want to ask you, and I need that on the comment section, why is Lily successful in her own business? What did she do that made her successful? That I need on the comment section. You need to understand that starting a business is not an easy job. It takes a lot of work, a lot of planning. The effort and the money it takes to start a business could be lost if you don't start the right business and if you don't start the right way. The right business begins with a good description of your business idea. Now, I'm going to be helping you out by giving you what makes a business idea. Remember, that's the title of today's video. The first, you need to ask yourself the following questions and answer them as well. Which need will your business fulfill for the customers? And what kind of customers will you attract? You don't just start a business having yourself in mind. No. You start a business having the customer in mind. So what will your business do for the customer? Your business idea should always have customers and their needs in mind. Take for instance, this is what a customer is saying. So what kind of business do you need? Do you think you need to give this kind of customer? I wish there was a daycare center near my workplace so that I can send my baby to that daycare center and then go to my work and work comfortably. If you're in an environment that has a lot of working class, and then you feel this working class, they are young mothers, they would definitely need a daycare. You can groom yourself in that direction. In care courses, short courses on caring, and then restart a daycare center. But then also do your market research properly. Be sure you don't have daycare centers scattered here and there in that vicinity. Also try to meet some of those mothers and talk with them and find out what they actually need. Perhaps there is a place they keep their kids at the moment. Are they enjoying their experience there? What do you think you could bring on the desk that will make your own unique and make every mother convinced to bring their words to you? It could be that you would add a CCTV camera in your own daycare center. So always have the customer in mind when you're thinking of what to do. The next one is, what good or service would your business sell? You need to ask yourself, what exactly is this my business going to be giving out to customers? What am I out in the market to sell? Remember, I'm not just talking about the open markets like we have in Africa. Your market could be online, it could be remote, it could be anyhow, depending on your business idea and then your customer reach. So, you need to ask yourself, what am I going to give to my customers? Now look at this guy. He says there is no regular waste collection here. And in as much as I have a very good restaurant, but I have a lot of waste, a lot of garbage at the back of my restaurant, and that's not good for my customers. If you stay in an environment where there are a lot of waste, it could be plastic waste, you can decide to get into recycling, or you can decide to gather those plastic waste and send to the companies that are into recycling. That's a business. Always ask yourself, what am I here to do? What am I here to sell to my customers? So you could gather their garbage, and that's what you are there to sell. So you need to find out what you are out to sell For Lilian, and your abilities, you're going to decide, and then the customer need, you're going to decide on what business exactly you want to get into. Remember, you can't do everything in that area of business. Earlier on I talked about transportation. You can't do everything in transportation, obviously, so you need to find your niche with respect to the need of the customer, and be sure that that's what you're going to be giving out, that's what you're going to be selling to the customer. So for Lilian, she was so precise about what she wanted, and she was out to make clothes for teenage girls. So just get that. If you're a service provider, find out what service exactly am I going to be providing to my customers. The third question we're going to consider is this: who will your business sell to? Yeah, you need to decide whether you're going to be selling to consumers directly, retailers, even manufacturers, depending on what product you have. So you need to decide who am I going to be selling to. If you don't have that in mind, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, because the way you approach distributors is not the same way you would approach retailers. It's not the same way you're going to approach the direct consumers. So you need to find out who you are out there to sell to. Now, I know that there is a demand for good leather. I'm just giving you an example. There is a demand for good leather bags, as there are no stores that sell them in this area. But should I target students, or should I target the working class? Which of this class of persons do you think would appreciate the kind of leather bag you make? So you need to define this. If your leather bag is fanciful, with a lot of designs, with a lot of colors, I guess you should be looking at students, and good quality too. But if your leather bags are mostly in brown color, mature, not having a lot of pimps here and there, then you're talking about the working class. And then you also need to know the financial capacity of the customer you want to sell to. If you're selling to the working class, obviously you can afford to give them expensive bags. They can afford it. But you're selling to students, you will know the kind of leather that you would also use to make theirs, because they may not be able to pay so much like the working class. So be sure to define the people you're targeting. For Lilian, she knew who she was targeting. She was interested in distributing to shops that would now sell to the consumers. She was interested in selling to retailers that would sell to customers. And then, having that in mind, she also considered at what price will she sell to these guys that will now sell to the consumers. And she had to strike a balance between the cost of production and the selling price with those people. And that was actually what made her succeed in her own business. Unlike Jane, there was nothing like that. She never knew the price that they would buy the oil for, the price the consumers were willing to pay. She just went into it because she saw that, wow, they are looking for sunflower oil. So you need to answer that question: who will your business sell to? And when you do that, it's going to help you to take the right measure. Now, I'm going to give you the fourth point. The fourth one is, how is your business going to sell its goods or service? Yeah. How are you going to sell your goods or service? So that brings me down to who you are selling to, whether you're selling to shops, whether you're selling to individuals, or whatever as the case may be. So you need to decide. So for some businesses, they could sell to shops and still sell to individuals. Let's assume you make furnitures, beautiful furnitures. Obviously, you could sell to individuals, companies that need those furnitures directly in their offices. And then you could also sell to big shopping malls that also display furnitures. About your supply chain, decide the people that you'll be able to meet up with their needs. If you're selling to big shopping malls, it means that your capacity, your production capacity needs to be high, or even if you're starting from small level, you're going to increase it in order to meet up with the demand. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm going to give you the fifth one. The next one you need to think about is how much will your business depend on and impact the environment. It's not wonderful to just start a business because, wow, this is a good business without having a rethink about the environment. It's not good to start a business without thinking about what impact will this business have on the environment. If you make so much money and cause so much nuisance to the environment, I don't think you've succeeded. In fact, you have not succeeded. Because definitely, guys in environmental management will come after you. And by so doing, when you pay the kind of money they would level out against you, it will be so difficult for your business to start. So you need to ask yourself, is my business environmentally friendly? Now, let's assume you are producing a particular chemical and then you dispose the waste part of it into the environment. You could tell yourself that I'm releasing it into a pit where you are. But the truth of the matter is that depending on the porosity and the permeability of the rock where this waste is getting into, it could get into the groundwater and by extension would affect the populace of that area, because by and large most of the water consumption we have today is from groundwater. So you need to check out this when you are deciding on your business idea. You need to check out this when getting into the business. Remember the story I told you about Jane? Jane went into cultivation of sunflower and then she needed to make this very fast and she added fertilizers instead of using organic products to boost the growth of her sunflower. So she used fertilizers. Unfortunately, the chemical fertilizers had impact on her cheeks and that led to the death of a lot of her birds and she lost so greatly. So next time you're thinking of what to do, next time you're thinking about your business idea, please could you just allow your business idea pass through this 5 points that I've given you, and then finally I'm going to give you an activity to do that would help you in actually finding out if this your business idea worth it. So here is the activity. Now in this activity 3, I'm going to give you this box for you to work with. You're going to write what your business idea is. That's the first one. Now, which need will your business fulfill? That's the second one. The third one is what goods or service will you provide, and then to whom will you sell to? How will you sell your goods and service? Will you package it? Will it be exposed and stuff like that? And how much will your business depend upon to impact the environment? So I want you to work on this. Just write, fill in these boxes. At this stage, it's possible you've not actually found a business idea. Never mind, there is no problem. Just do the activity, the exercise I've given you, and I'll still help you find a business idea. Okay, so that's what we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the class, and then I hope you're actually improving yourself on entrepreneurship. So that's it for today. Thank you, and have a very good evening.